This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. People trying to get rich with investing. They have
Right.
no money, and then they
Mhm.
try to invest it in some opportunity where they think that they will get rich
Mm.
overnight. It will
Yes,
not
yes.
happen. It doesn't happen. Even
Hey friends, welcome to Go for 10. If you're achieving less than you know that you are capable of, then Go for 10 is for you. Our goal with this show and company is to bring you the practical tips, the how-tos, so that you can take action and have success and happiness in your life and business. We are confident that what we share works because we only interview the people who have actually done it, since the fastest way for you to get to the next level in your personal and professional life is to follow the people who have been there and done it. Our expert guests fearlessly challenge the status quo and outdated paradigms to achieve results that are way beyond the average. Stay tuned to today's episode if you want to go for 10 in your money, finances, and investing. Great. Our guest today is the international best-selling author of The Million Dollar Decision and European Public Speaker of the Year. He has shared the stage with people like New York Times best-selling author of The 1 Minute Millionaire, Robert Allen, legendary author and public speaker Brian Tracy, UK's #1 wealth coach Kevin Green, and serial entrepreneur Gary Vaynerchuk. Some people have put him alongside Steve Jobs in terms of innovative, creative thinking and taking massive action. From a poor backwater village in Slovenia, he became a successful entrepreneur and then lost most of his money because he listened to financial advisors, brokers, and financial gurus. He then set out to learn what the financial industry does behind the scenes and fearlessly and passionately shares what they don't want you to know about investing. The man who has saved thousands of financial lives. Please welcome Robert Rowley. Welcome, Robert.
thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's amazing to have you on, and I think it's a perfect time to do this interview as we start a new year. And a
Yeah.
lot of people at this time of year are thinking about their finances. They're thinking about what to do and how to invest. So I think they're at the right place at the right time, Robert.
Yeah, that's right. It has been a magnificent year for investors. It has not been a good year, overall because of the viruses and we cannot travel and so on. But if we just take a look at investing, it was a phenomenal year. So yeah, it's exciting times, and I think that for all the listeners, you are at the right place at the right time.
Great, Robert. So you have said that you made a lot of money as an entrepreneur and then lost it all because of typically bad advice from the financial advisors, brokers, as the case may be. So for the sake of our listeners, our audience, what are the typical pieces of advice a financial advisor or broker will give that may not be the best advice for people who are looking to invest? So what do they typically hear as an individual getting advice that are not actually going to be good for their best interest?
The biggest problem in the financial industry is that they are selling and pushing products that are good for them and not for their clients, for their customers. And the biggest problem in the financial industry is that they are selling and pushing products that are good for them and not for their clients, for their customers. And when I was listening, when I made a lot of money in my business, this was in 2005. It was the first year where I really had a lot of income, and it was my financial breakthrough. And then I knew that I should invest a part of the money that I make, but I didn't know how. I was totally financially illiterate. So I trusted financial advisors, and gurus and all these guys, with wealth management, with the financial industry and so on. And I gave them all of my profits, business profits, year after year. And then after several years of doing that, I realized that basically I had no money left. All of those investments went down sharply, and it was really terrible for me. So whenever you are investing your money, you should understand that a lot of financial advisors, a lot of financial products are really bad for us. They have high commissions and fees, and these fees and these commissions basically eat all of your future profits. So when it comes to investing, you should know what you are doing. You should know the right details. And this is my mission right now in life. I learned the hard way, all these things. I made a lot of mistakes, and now I'm sharing this knowledge, behind the scenes knowledge with people all around the world, so they don't make the same mistakes as I did.
Okay, absolutely. That's great, Robert. So what you just said in terms of commissions and fees, is it that, just to break it down a little bit more simply for our listeners, is it that what you're saying is that, if I put in a bunch of money, immediately a portion of that goes into commissions and fees for the broker or the agent, as the case may be, and my monies are not fully being invested in whatever they say that they're investing in. Is that correct?
Yes, so this is not the biggest problem.
Okay.
The commissions that they take right away are most of the time they are small, and they are
Okay.
not problematic. But the biggest problem are the ongoing commissions and fees, the so-called management fees. These fees are deducted from your whole portfolio every single year. So year after year, you are paying these commissions, and you don't even know it. You are not even aware of it. But a very small 2% ongoing fee, annual fee or management fee, basically eats half of your future profits, and in most of the cases, it can eat up from 50% to 80% of all of your investments over a long time period. So if you are investing for 20 years, most of your money will go to the pockets of the financial industry, and you will keep just a small percent of the period. So if you are investing for 20 years, most of your money will go to the pockets of the financial industry, and you will keep just a small percent of that money. And this is something that basically nobody talks about in the financial industry. Why? Because it's not in their interest.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know these things. They don't want you to know that there is this, the small commissions and fees can eat most of your money in the long run, and this is the big problem.
Okay, yeah, certainly I've been an avid reader and follower of financial information, and I've certainly never heard that perspective in terms of how much actually those fees over a long period could eat into your profits, as the case may be. So, Robert, is it that those commissions, fees, as you say, are the main source of income for those financial companies, or are they actually making really good use of the investors' money? And that's one of the stuff that they don't want us to know.
So the thing is that this is their, let's say, when you are selling a product, you have a certain price. Let's say that you are selling apples. One apple is maybe, I don't know. Let's for the sake of simplicity, let's say one apple is $1. Okay, so this is the price of your apple that you are selling. But in the financial world, the price of the products, of the financial products that they are selling, are these commissions and fees, their management fees. This is their price. And if this price is 2% annually, this is a very, very, very high price. And like I said, this eats most of your future profits, and in many cases, even the original investments that you made. So this price can be very, very high. And that is why, when it comes to investing, you should always be using low-cost investment products. Like, for example, me and also my clients who attend my programs, they invest in low-cost, so the stock investments, whatever you want to invest in the stock market, they usually go into a very low-cost index funds. Okay, so these are the lowest possible costs on the market. You are paying very, very, very small commissions and fees, practically 10 to 20 times lower compared to the traditional products.
Absolutely. And, Robert, I was a fan, still is a fan of, financial information. But when I was in university, it was one of the options that I chose. And I was really excited about it. And one of my first earnings was actually winning a bursary in my university for good academic performance. And, having the financial knowledge that I had then, the limited one, of course, I invested in a mutual fund plan and, hoping that it would grow for the long term. And I realized that it didn't. The fact is that it didn't. And inflation ate up any gains that I would have made. And I think so many people are being caught in this system. Actually, very interestingly, only last week, one of my coworkers, messaged me and said, she has 3 kids. And when she had her second kid, one of the financial advisors told her, invest in this particular fund, $10,000. And in 10 years, you're going to double what you actually put in. And this will be a good start for your child. Robert, and she called me after last week after 10 years, and the interest that she earned was less than $500 after 10 years on $10,000, So
because
that's
probably the stocks that were in the mutual fund, they grew by 100% or even more. In the last 10
okay.
years, if you didn't have a 200 or 300% returns, then you were basically investing in really terrible products. So the stocks grew by that amount. But the problem is that they also charged high commissions and fees, and these commissions and fees ate all these potential profits, and this is the problem.
Okay, I got it. So one of the things I've been saying, and I don't know if you concur with this or this is in alignment with what you teach, but I often tell people if you look around, you see that a lot of the financial institutions are having success. They have these big, beautiful offices. The CEOs drive the best cars, and in some places like in New York, the car sales salesmen line up outside of the financial district to sell their cars at bonus time. So the fact is that it's obvious that they are making a lot of money. So I always tell people, if you can learn what they are doing, then you can do the same thing. And I think it's quite easy enough to learn. Is that something that you agree with, Robert, and you teach?
Yeah, basically, when I was doing live events in the past, now of course for the last year we only do online events.
Sure.
But at my live events, I teach everything that you need to know about investing in just 2 days. You don't need more than 2 days, because you just need to know the right things. And when you know the right things, then everything is simple and easy. So I try to distill like 10 years of learning into just 2 days. And that's more than enough, because investing is simple. It's the financial industry that tries to make it really complex.
Yeah, absolutely, folks. And you definitely want to check Robert's website, and we'll get into those details a little bit later on for all of his programs and trainings and blogs. They're absolutely useful. And this is exactly what our show at Go for 10 is all about, to cut through all of the non-value added stuff and really get into the stuff that could actually change your life. Now, Robert, money is a big stressor for a lot of people. And I believe that, when you lost the monies that you lost, it caused a lot of stress, both personally and family-wise. Could you share a little bit about that, if you may?
Yeah, it was really the darkest period of my life. When I realized how much money I lost, it was like, I lost my motivation to work. My business suffered, my personal life suffered. I really, for a couple of years, I just went into this dark spiral, depression and everything. And I was basically very, very lucky to get out of it. with the help of my mentors. My most important mentor in my life was always Brian Tracy, the legendary author. And I was very lucky that I organized a couple of events with him when this happened, And when we went to dinner after one of these events, I asked him for his advice, and I told him all about my problems. And then he said something that totally changed my life, And this was, he said, Robert, it doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is if you have the knowledge and skills to understand, how to manage your money and how to invest it. And this is the important thing. At that moment, I realized that I don't have these skills, that I blindly trust the financial industry. And then I made this decision to start learning about personal finance, about investing, about all these details.
Okay, that's
And that
amazing.
changed my life, of course.
Absolutely, and that is really testimony of the importance of a mentor and a coach.
Yeah.
Really, really critical. So, what were your best sources of learning? How did you grow those skills and knowledge to get to the point where you are today? What was your best forms of learning, and who did you learn from?
Yeah. So basically, there were three sources. The first one was books. I read. I'm very fast learner. I read a lot of books. So in the course of the next years, I read more than 300 books about personal finance and investing. And I attended a lot of events, a lot of seminars, a lot of workshops, and so on. And the third source was basically financial industry insiders. At all these events and so on, I met a lot of people, and of course they tell you a lot of things. So yeah, this and of course practice.
Okay.
When you are doing stuff, when you are investing, when you start to do research, then you find a lot of these important details.
Absolutely. So that's amazing what you're doing, Robert, because you're able to condense, what you took 7 or 8 years to learn in a matter of days. And now I think you have online courses as well that people can access. So that's amazing, guys. And if you're listening on, please, go search up Robert and get his stuff. He has a lot of amazing stuff. So we label this interview and show Robert how to invest and grow your wealth in 2021 and beyond. So what would be your key ideas for us listening on? How do we grow our wealth in 2021 and beyond?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what I teach is that first you need to make some money and then you can invest it. Okay, so there are two groups of people probably listening to this. One group is people who are still trying to earn some money. Okay, so if you have no money or if you have very little money and you are trying to just start to earn a higher income, then you need to invest only in money making skills. Okay, so only invest in money making skills. Don't bother with investing right now, because if you invest small amounts of money, nothing will happen, or yes, you can get rich, but in 178 years, when you compound this. If you have very little money, then you should just focus on increasing your money making skills. This is like marketing skills, sales skills, leadership skills, negotiating skills, communication skills, public speaking skills, online marketing skills, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, or like I said, maybe we should call them business skills. Okay. Now, if you already have some money, if you have good income, if you are wondering how to invest that money, then here are a couple of guidelines. Okay, so the first thing is we live in a world governed by the laws of quantum physics, and in quantum physics there are no certainties, there are only probabilities. So whatever you invest in, it might work like magic, or it might go down sharply. Okay, so never be 100% certain that something will happen. Okay, or that some asset will grow, because nothing is certain in the investing world. Of course, I am not a financial advisor. I cannot give you financial advice. Okay, thanks God. Today I will just give you my opinion, what I would do if I started to invest right now,
Okay.
and this is just my opinion. Okay, it's not a financial advice. Now, first thing, you should diversify into different asset categories. Okay, so one asset category is stocks. And like I said, my students in my courses, they are using very inexpensive index funds, for investing in the stock market. So we never invest in individual stocks. Why? Because individual stocks can be very dangerous. You can pick the right ones, but you can also pick the wrong ones. And a lot of people think that they can pick the winners, but in reality, very few can do that. Okay, so don't be overconfident. Just invest in a simple, diversified vehicle with the lowest possible cost, and these are index funds. Okay, stock index funds. Then the second thing that I would do is buy some gold. Gold is very, very important, especially in the macroeconomic environment that we are living in. We have central banks printing money like there is no tomorrow. The inflation right now is hiding in the asset prices. Okay, so consumer prices, for milk and sugar, they are not going up, but the assets are going up in price like 5 to 10% per year, and this is the real inflation. But you don't see it. And the statistics, the government statistics, they don't show you this kind of inflation. They just show you, milk and sugar and bread, this is staying at the same level. Nothing to worry about. But you don't spend all of your money for food and for clothes. You want to send your children to school, to a good school. You need money, and this is growing. The costs of schooling are growing. You want to buy a new house, the real estate is going up. You want to buy stocks, they are going up like never before. So this is the real inflation. Okay, so this is something you need to understand. And we have two, basically now we have two vehicles or tools that we can use in order to fight this inflation. One is gold, and the second one is Bitcoin. Okay, so gold and Bitcoin, these are two tools. Bitcoin is not a currency. Okay, a lot of people mistake Bitcoin. They think, Bitcoin is a currency. It's this is for criminals and so on. Not anymore. Bitcoin is right now, it's institutionalized. It's legal. American Securities Commission said Bitcoin is okay. It's not a security. It's okay. We will not ban it and so on. So Bitcoin is a totally different story than it was 3 years ago. So and like you probably see, last year Bitcoin was the top performing asset category. Stocks went up like 10 to 15% in 2020. Gold went up 24%, and Bitcoin went up 304%. The institutions, the banking system, big corporations are basically all investing in Bitcoin right now. Why? Because it's a new asset category. It's proven asset category because it has been around for 10 years. It has gone over the last peaks, over the all-time highs, in 2018. So Bitcoin right now is at 32,000 or something, and the last peak in 2018 it was below 20,000. So now it's more than 50% more expensive than it was at the peak 3 years ago. So it's becoming a mainstream asset, and it's becoming a replacement for gold, because gold it's very expensive to move. It's very expensive to store. And if you want to transact with gold, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money. Bitcoin does all that for a fraction of cost and in minutes. You can send Bitcoin to anybody in the world in minutes, and it costs you maybe $5 to send 200 million worth of Bitcoins around the world. So it's a new gold. The new Wall Street mantra is that Bitcoin is gold 2.0. Okay,
Wow.
so Bitcoin is gold 2.0, and now practically all these big institutions are trying to get into this space. But right now, it's a bit hard for them because they are traditional institutions. They need a lot of legal approval and accounting approval and so on. So it will take them months to get into Bitcoin. And here is the opportunity. Here the retail investors can enter this market before them. So, like I said, you need to be in gold. Even though I think that Bitcoin will outperform gold in the next years, I still also invest in gold. Why? Because you can never be 100% certain about anything. Okay, so I invest in stock index funds, I invest in gold, and I invest in Bitcoin, and I'm also investing in business crypto projects. Okay, so these are projects that are based on the blockchain technology, just like Bitcoin, but they have business utility. Okay, they have business utility. They are similar to stocks. They produce value, just like Apple produces phones, and phones are value. They bring value to the market. You have business crypto projects that also produce value, and they bring value to this world. And that is why I also invest in business crypto projects. So stocks, gold, then Bitcoin, and business crypto projects. I am too young to invest in bonds. Okay, bonds are boring, are for older people. So if you are 50, maybe 60 years old, then you need bonds because of safety. But if you are younger than that, you really don't need bonds. Because bonds in this environment, they will not produce. They are just keeping pace with the inflation, or not even that. So you need to be. So if you want to grow your wealth, you need to be in stocks, you need to be in gold, you need to be in Bitcoin, and you need to be in business crypto projects. And of course, stocks and gold are the old things. Bitcoin and business crypto projects are new things that have much higher potential, and that is why I like them, because they have totally different risk versus reward compared to the traditional assets. And this is the beauty.
Okay. Amazing information there, Robert. And I just want to go back to the start of this last segment when you said there are people who may not have a lot of money to invest right now, and that doesn't make much sense, because I think it's so absolutely correct. Because when I got introduced to Bitcoin and some of the business projects, and I was sort of just dipping my feet in the water, so to speak, $100, $200 there. Yes, it would have gone up 5 times. I looked at your post this morning on Ethereum, for example, and it's now over 1,000. And I remember probably buying when it was $89 for one. But if you quadruple $100, it's still $400.
It's still nothing,
Exactly.
It's not life-changing.
Yeah, you can't pay off your mortgage or buy that new car. So I think that was especially important advice there. Well, information. I know you can't give advice, but information in the sense that people, I know it's a new year and people want to, they're seeing all of this stuff and they want to get in investing, but it's so important that message that you have to first have money to invest.
This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. People trying to get rich with investing. They have no money, and then they try to invest it in some opportunity where they think that they will get rich overnight. It will not happen. It doesn't happen. Even if you invest in the best performing assets for the next year, you can 10x your money. Okay, you can 10x your money. But if you just invest $300, it's still only 3,000 at the end of the year. And Of course, you cannot invest everything in just one thing because it
Mhm.
might not work,
Yeah.
so it will not work,
Okay.
so people who try to get rich with investing, it doesn't work. You can get rich by first improving your money making skills, and then investing. Okay,
Okay.
so first you need some serious income, then you invest, and then beautiful things will happen.
Yeah, Robert, that's absolutely amazing. This is information and thoughts that I can tell you that you don't get much other places, if
Yeah.
anything at all. And that's really amazing. So, Robert, you spoke about some of those business crypto projects. Any ones that you actually invest in or you see it? Because I think you raise a very important point because a lot of people out there, as you say, are looking to get rich quick. I mean, who wants to get rich slow, right? But at the same time, they jump into something that their friend or an advisor or guru might suggest to them. And one of the biggest ideas that is not really put out there is really understanding values, as you mentioned. What is the value behind the asset? What is the value that the company is producing? So when a lot of people ask me what I think about this, that's the first question that I often ask. Is that a good question for people to contemplate? And for the absolute novice, could you explain how do we determine or how do we see that value?
Yeah, this is super, super important. My one of my basic rules for investing is that you should only invest in assets or investments that you understand.
Mhm.
If you don't understand what is Bitcoin, don't invest in Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Do your research first. Go on Google, go on YouTube, and search what is Bitcoin. And after you have watched 10 videos and read 20 articles, then you can invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And the same goes for business crypto projects. I will not mention any of them. Okay, you already mentioned one, Ethereum.
Yeah.
But if you want to invest in them, there are two rules. The first rule is you need to understand what are you investing into. What is the project all about. And
Mhm.
the second rule is you should never invest like half of your money into one
Mhm.
project. You
Yeah.
should always diversify, because even though Ethereum is like one of the cornerstones of the crypto space, it's still, something can happen, and it can go down, so you should never be 100% sure about anything. So you need to be humble with your
Mhm.
investments. So that is why, at my I have a special course, that teaches all that. It's called crypto power, so Power Crypto Portfolio.
Mhm.
And this course, it teaches people, which projects are the best ones. I spent a lot of time, to just research each project, and then I made a selection, and then how to allocate your money into different projects. Like 7% into this one, 3% into this one, and so on. So it takes some time to learn these things. You cannot just go and invest
Yeah.
into random projects.
Well, that sounds like an amazing program, Robert. One of the ideas that you had in your book, one of the dark forces of investing, you spoke about the lure of the shiny next big thing, and so for a lot of people out there who are not that financially literate, probably saying that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are the next shiny big thing. What do you have to say to that?
Yes, they could be. They could be. But the important thing is that you understand that first you need to learn what this space is all about.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you need to diversify in this
Mhm.
space, so your money should never go like, one of the main things I teach is that you should diversify your investment portfolio.
Okay.
You should not go all in into stocks, or all in into gold, or all into crypto. You need to diversify into different asset categories, and that
Okay.
is why I mentioned, gold. I mentioned stocks. I mentioned bonds. I mentioned crypto, Bitcoin, and so on. So you should be diversified. The problem with people who are looking for these shiny new things, is that they invest too much of they invest everything into one thing,
Yeah.
and they are certain, 100% certain that it will work perfectly. But a lot of times it doesn't, So
Yeah.
that is why we are diversifying. We are diversifying in different asset categories. And also in a certain asset category, for example, in stocks, we are diversifying through index funds.
Once.
We are not investing in individual companies, but in hundreds of companies. And in the crypto space, we are not investing in one business crypto project, but we are investing in 20 of them, and this is
Okay.
the important thing.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. One of the things that you said in one of the recent webinars that I listened to from you, you said that Bitcoin is gold and not a cryptocurrency. So as I said, I'm a avid reader and learner, but it's that sort of hit me as being different and stimulated my intellect. So could you share a little bit more about why you said Bitcoin is gold 2.0? What are the qualities of it? I would imagine that cause you to say that.
Yeah, so it's very simple and easy,
Okay.
Bitcoin. The first thing about Bitcoin is that it has a limited supply.
Mm.
So there will ever be only 21 million Bitcoins in the world.
Okay.
Nobody can print more Bitcoin. It's
Okay.
totally limited supply. Okay, and this is totally different compared to gold, because gold, you can mine gold. Okay, you
Okay.
can produce new gold, and with Bitcoin, it's totally limited, 21 million, and that's it. Now,
Okay.
a lot of people think that they need to buy the whole Bitcoin. You don't need to buy the whole Bitcoin. You can just buy a fraction of it. Okay, you can buy 0.01 Bitcoin, or you can buy 0.3 Bitcoin. Okay, so it's basically you can just buy a fraction of Bitcoin, so it's divisible, just like gold. It's divisible.
Okay.
But then the big advantage over gold is that it's digital. Okay, it's
Mm.
digital. So it's much easier to send it to somebody else. So to transact with it, it's much easier compared to gold, and you can do that with a fraction of cost of moving gold. So if you want to move, let's say, a lot of gold, it costs you thousands or tens of thousands of US dollars, to move gold
Yeah.
from United States to Singapore, or maybe even hundreds of thousands, depending on the quantity. But if you want to move 500 million Bitcoin from Australia to US, it costs you $10.
Wow.
It's nothing. It's nothing. So these are the important characteristics of Bitcoin. It's a digital gold, and new generations, they don't care about gold, about physical gold. This is like history for them. They don't even understand how could somebody buy gold.
Yeah.
Why? You need to store it somewhere. It's expensive.
Expensive.
It's wow, crazy. Younger generations, this is everything for them. This is
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
They need things here, and this is the solution is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's a new way of storing wealth.
Okay.
It's a new way of storing wealth. So that is why I call it digital gold. And another important thing is that Bitcoin is the best performing asset category in 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and in the entire history of investing. Bitcoin is the best performing asset category in 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and in the entire history of investing.
Wow.
It's the best performing asset ever. Now, do I think that this will continue forever? Probably not. Okay, it will not continue forever.
Yeah.
But right now, Bitcoin represents approximately 4% of the market cap of gold.
Wow.
Okay, so if gold is 12 trillion US dollars, so the entire worth of gold in the world is 12 trillion, Bitcoin is only 4% of that. So
Wow.
this means that if Bitcoin goes to 8%, and this is like a no-brainer, this
Yeah.
will happen like 99% probability that it will happen, you can double your
Okay.
money.
So that's
If it
24
goes to
trillion. Yeah.
yeah, if
Yeah.
it goes to 20% of gold, and
Gold.
this is very likely that it will, you will quadruple your money and so on. So the beauty of Bitcoin is that it's in the beginning, it's so small right now
Yeah.
that you can still make serious gains, and this is this risk versus reward, it's
Okay.
asymmetric, and
Okay.
gold, it's very hard for gold to go plus 100% in 1 year, almost
Okay.
impossible.
Okay.
And for Bitcoin, it's like that.
Got that. Okay. So you did mention there about, that you can't print any more Bitcoin, but you also said that excessive money printing is a problem currently. Could you explain a little bit more about that to us?
Yes. So we have a big recession. Okay.
Okay.
We have a big recession. The economy is basically, a lot of businesses are failing. A lot of businesses have no income. So it's a real, real disaster. Um, and the only tool that the central banks have left in their disposal is printing more money.
Mm.
Why? Because in the past recessions, they could lower the interest rate in order to help businesses to borrow more money.
Money.
So if the price of money, this is the interest rate, is the price
Yes.
of money. If this goes down, you help the economy by making money more available. So businesses can borrow more money and they can invest more, and
Okay.
they can start up their production and so on. But right now the interest rates are at a historic low. They are already at zero. You cannot push them much
It's
much more further down.
around. Yeah.
You can go into minus, but then you have the Japan story, and Japan story didn't end well, and it's the
Yeah.
same in Europe. Negative interest rates are a death sentence for the financial system, for banks. So banks are going down for the last 2 decades in Japan, in Europe, and also in the United States. They are basically going down because of these low interest rates, because
Yeah.
nobody wants to have money in the bank anymore. Why you should have it, because you get nothing,
Yeah.
zero interest, so money printing is the only thing that they can do, because they cannot lower the interest rates to
Okay.
start up the economy again.
Okay.
And they are just printing more money and printing more money. For now, this money just goes into the rich man's pockets.
Okay.
Like the way how do they create new money is just they go to commercial banks and they say, okay, now companies can borrow more money from you, and when the companies borrow more money, new money is created. Okay.
Okay.
Now the problem is that only good companies have good credit ratings to get this
That's
money.
funny. Yeah.
So basically, all the good companies can borrow to infinity,
Okay.
and they do that, and then they just buy assets. They buy stocks
Okay.
because you cannot increase production anymore.
Yeah.
Apple cannot make 2 times more phones. Nobody needs them.
Yes. Yeah.
So all this money that they are printing ends up in the financial assets like stocks.
Okay.
And that is why Amazon is going up, and
Yeah.
Tesla is going up, and Apple is going up like there is no tomorrow. And nobody cares about stock valuations. Nobody cares about how profitable are these investments, because everybody just needs to invest somewhere. You
Okay.
cannot put your money in the bank because it's zero. You are just losing purchasing power. So you need to put it somewhere. So you are buying stocks. That is why big
It
bubble, and
goes
it will
up.
not stop. It will not
Okay.
stop.
Okay. Okay. So that's very interesting, Robert. As it's like all of the other options, as you said, in terms of lowering interest rates, are literally exhausted, and what they're doing now is printing money. But is there a limit to that? Is there an end to that? Is there a place
Yeah.
where we won't be able to do that anymore, just like we couldn't lower interest rate anymore? And if and when that happens, what's likely the outcome for
Yeah.
us globally?
The big issue here is that they can print and print and print more. They don't see the inflation. They don't
Okay.
see the inflation because inflation is hiding in the asset prices. And they
Hmm.
measure inflation with the consumer
Consumers. Okay.
consumer products.
Yes.
So
Wow.
they see, everybody thinks that there is no inflation, but inflation
Inflation.
is, but it's hiding somewhere else.
Wow.
Now, if they continue to print and print and print, at a certain point in time, there will be something will need to give. Something will need
Okay.
to give. Something will happen. And then you could also have this spillover effect into the consumer prices, and then everybody will start to panic. So I don't know what will be the solution, but
Okay.
it could be ugly. It could be ugly. So I
Okay.
don't know. They
Okay.
they will need to continue to do that. We don't know for how long. They will not stop. They cannot stop,
Wow.
and there are no good solutions here. There are
Okay.
simply no good solutions. So let's
Yeah.
let's just hope that it will not end really badly. With
Wow. Yeah.
kind of,
That's a little
performance.
frightening there, Robert. But at least we have a heads up. We understand what's going on, and that's important. Now, one of the basic notions of this show is that the fastest way for you to have success is to follow the people who have been there and done it. But recently, and I always use Warren Buffett as an example. I always tell people, well, if you follow exactly what he did, then you'll have exactly the same results. But you recently said that his investments are not performing as well over the last decade or so. Can you explain what went wrong, or on why you say
Yeah.
that?
So Warren Buffett is the greatest investor that ever lived.
Hmm.
But in the last decade, his investment performance is very, very poor. He's totally
Okay.
underperforming the market.
Okay.
Why? Because he totally missed the technology train.
Mm.
He didn't invest in technology companies up until 2016. In
Okay.
2016, he made his first investment in Apple, but he was very late. He was
Okay.
very late. And that is why he is basically lagging the market in the last decade. Now,
Okay.
Warren Buffett is a great investor, but my advice is don't follow him, because
Okay.
he, people get old,
Yeah.
and people stop doing the research. They
Hmm.
just stick to what they know.
Yeah.
And if you want to be successful today in investing, you need to constantly research what is going on in the technology sector, because
Yeah.
technology is driving the world right now.
Yeah.
You see all these big corporations, Amazons and Googles. They are the biggest corporations in the world right now, and these are all tech companies.
Yeah.
Only tech companies, and now the blockchain technology is coming. And Warren Buffett, he doesn't even understand internet technology, and no way that he
Right.
will understand blockchain technology. So that is why he still thinks that Bitcoin is a red poison.
Mm.
But
Hmm.
this is because he cannot do the research. Because he doesn't understand technology. And with all due respect to Warren Buffett, but you should not follow him right now,
Okay. Okay.
because yeah, he's the greatest investor, but in the last period of time, uh, I, I have a huge respect for him, but I am not following his
Yeah.
footsteps in the last decade. I'm
Okay.
investing in technology.
Well,
I'm
Robert, that
investing in technology. My clients have been investing in technology for the whole time that I was doing this.
Yeah, no, this
Yeah.
this is absolutely great, Robert, because as I said, the whole idea behind the Go for 10 show is to challenge outdated paradigms. And that's exactly what you are doing here. And, it's part of your simple brilliance, I call it, in the sense that, I read again something recently from you that, technology is driving the world. So it makes sense to invest in technology-based
That's it.
assets, I mean, that was,
Why should you
yeah,
why would you invest in utilities or in
yeah,
banks? These are all sectors, they are not moving anywhere.
yeah.
Um, you should invest in the sectors that are booming, not in the sectors that have been around for hundreds of years, and they are
Okay.
not going anywhere. So
Okay, Robert. Just two more questions for you before we close out. It's 50 minutes in, and
yeah.
I'm having fun. Time flies when you're having fun. So thanks for staying on with us. But you're sharing great information. But I'm sure that you've been doing this for years, and not everybody takes action. So what do you, in your experience, what have you found is some of the typical mindset changes and mental blocks that people have that prevent them from taking action, although there's great information that you're sharing? What are the mental challenges that we need to make people aware of that they might have that might actually be keeping them back from taking action?
A very interesting thing is that when I was younger, I was not action oriented.
Mhm.
I only became action oriented when I met my wife. My
Okay.
at that time she was my girlfriend, but
Okay.
now she's my wife, and she taught me that if I need to do something, I should do it right away.
Yeah.
I was always procrastinating.
Mhm.
Always, if I can, yeah, I need to do something, but I will do it tomorrow. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
And this was my way of thinking before I met her. After I met her,
Mhm.
she always said to me, Robert, why don't you do it now? I said, "Oh, okay." and when I tried, basically she forced me. Basically,
Yeah.
she forced me, do it now, do it now, do it now. I was like, okay, I will do it now.
Yeah.
Now, when I started to do things now, everything changed for me.
Mm.
Everything changed for me. Before I met her, I was nobody. I I would
Wow.
waste my life,
Wow.
if I didn't met her. But after that, my life started to go up.
Yeah.
This is the key thing. What I don't know what kind of mental blocks do you have or whatever. It
Mm.
doesn't
Doesn't.
matter. And in the
Okay.
end, if you take action today, it's 100 times better than if you do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Let me give you one example. On the 28th of December, I had my workshop about investing in the crypto market. Okay, so it was a workshop, and I
Mm.
taught everything about the crypto market, which projects to invest in, how to do it, everything. One person in my group, I had approximately 300 people joining this course in December,
Okay.
and most of them took action right away. One of them made the first investment. So on the 28th, he was in the workshop. He started on the 28th, on the same day. He
Yeah.
invested.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he posted in our closed Facebook group, he posted that he already made 150K.
Wow.
150K. And this is in like 8 or 9
So 9
days.
days. Wow.
In 8 or 9 days.
Yeah.
And these kind of stories I see all the time. People who take action now, they have 100 times better results than people who take action tomorrow. That's it.
Okay.
That's all you need to know about this world. Take action today. Yeah.
Absolutely, Robert. So that program that you spoke about is what is contained in the Power Crypto portfolio program that you have.
Yes, so
Oh,
this was the workshop. I do live workshops here.
yep.
So I do live
Okay.
workshops. Plus, I also have the recording, and people get the recording one day afterwards. So
Okay.
basically, I teach which crypto projects to invest in, and
Okay.
I go step by step how to do it. So in
Okay.
one day you get everything. And then you get the recording, And also after that, I include you in my closed group on
Okay.
Facebook for
Yeah.
support if you have questions and so on. And I regularly update you via email,
Okay.
so you basically are covered
Okay.
for the entire next bull run that will last
Okay.
for maybe a year or to 5 years, and that's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so you share during that period of time, new ideas. So it's not just one and done. You take this course and you learn stuff, and you on your own. So they are part
No,
of
no,
your
no.
community where
Ongoing
you.
support.
Wow,
It's
wow.
very active. Our Facebook group is, so active. I cannot believe it. I can hardly keep up answering all the questions and so on. So it's really fun.
Well, that's amazing, Robert. So there's only so much we can share during this time in the podcast. So where can people find you and get more information on your training?
Yes. So if you are interested in the cryptos, but this is very important. This is only for people who have more than like 5 to 10,000 to invest in the crypto market, and this
Okay.
should not be your only investment. Okay.
Okay.
So my crypto power portfolio course is not for somebody who has 1,000. Okay.
Okay.
So this is something that I need to stress. Okay.
Okay.
So, but if you are interested, then you can go to roberttrolik.com/go. Maybe you will post this link later,
Okay.
like go for 10, but I just said go. So roberttrolik.com/go, and you can register for this course. And with the next live workshop will be on the 19th of January. But
Okay.
when you register, after a couple of hours, you will already receive the recording of the last workshop.
Okay.
So you can start today. Wait till the 19th.
Okay. Okay.
Because this market,
That's
because this market can grow by 40 or 50% by the 19th.
yeah.
It's entirely possible.
Wow, this has absolutely been absolutely amazing, Robert. Information, as I said, I think I'm an avid reader, but what you have said is really out of the box. It really challenges the status quo because the fact is that most people are not profitable from in investing because we've been following the wrong information and the wrong paradigms. And I think that what you have shared with us certainly have opened my appetite to get more information and really pointed in terms of understanding where you are at in your personal situation financially and what's the best route for you. I just can't think of any better information to give people who want to invest and to grow their wealth this year and beyond. So, Robert, I eternally grateful and look forward to some more great stuff from you. Thanks again, Robert.
Thank you for inviting me and good luck.
Okay, you're welcome, guys, Robert. And remember, guys, you're meant for greatness. Okay, just don't settle. Go for 10.